guys, welcome back to Clockwork and Noodles for your overall review of what's coming your way in winter 2023. It sounds so weird saying that because it's technically winter right now, but it's only 2022. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for this video. Welcome to the channel if you are new, and all my returning noodlings, thank you for being here. In this video, as always, we're going to break down what's coming your way, what original animes are coming to, and what anime am I breaking down on the channel in review form. Make sure you guys are subscribed. In about 2 weeks time, you're getting my end of season review where we'll wrap up and say goodbye to the full season. Thank you for being here. Thank you for gifting us such good anime titles, but how am I going to crown them? What are my top 3 anime? What did I really enjoy? What has surprised me? And what was a letdown? I'll just tell you what one series I was most disappointed in, and I'll give you my reasons for that as well. If you haven't already, check the midway review out just to see what I was thinking halfway through the season. We can see how things have changed, how have my expectations fallen, risen. Is there any anime that wasn't on that chart that has suddenly made its way up by just being really, really good? Because there's so much to go through, I think we need to get going. Start with what is continuing into the next season. Things that are airing right now that I'm watching and they are continuing. You've got My Hero Academia. Season 6 is proven to be an insane fight, got off the wall. I feel like every single episode it goes bad from worse. When I'm recording this, we've just had Dabby Dance. Things got a hell of a lot worse in that episode. Fantastic, really enjoying it. Can't wait to see what hell and trauma comes our way in the next half of My Hero Academia. Next up, we've got everybody's favourite anime, which really did creep up, was Blue Lock. It is the sports anime that seems to have struck a note with every anime fan because every single list I've seen, Blue Lock is on there. Even if it's camping 2nd or 3rd place, Blue Lock is on there. It's doing fantastic. Hats off to Blue Lock. I'm not a football fan, but I am watching it. I'm having fun. It'll be interesting to see how that one ends because I don't know if they're going to do the typical thing where the guy you're following wins. We will see. Another anime continuing that I am watching is Play It Cool, guys. That one I'm chilling with. It's a very good anime to wind down to if you're not feeling great. You may have noticed that I probably sound a bit weird because I am sick. I don't feel too bad. I just feel like I sound a bit bunged up. I probably sound really not so cool on the recording, but Play It Cool, guys. Really enjoying it. So you watch these people who you think have got it all together, have got their lives together, and they're not. They're klutzers or they're forgetful. There was the one this week where the guy goes in to try saving a kid and the kid doesn't actually fall down off the slide and he gets up and smacks his head full on the slide. I felt that so bad because I've done that. I've gone underneath like racking or something and I've just stood up and smacked my head full on the racking. I relate. It's a good anime to just chill with and relate to. And the last one continuing is Eternal Boys. I don't think it's as glowing as the other ones that are continuing, and I'm enjoying it. I thought it had a good premise, but I don't think they're executing it quite right. But those are what are continuing. So next up, let's quickly move into what anime is returning to the screen. So these are season 2s or season 3, 4s. These are returning anime that have already had their season. These are animes that have already got fans. Maybe I've broken them down on the channel. In the first spot, we're going to go to Inspector number 2. I was quite harsh on this anime. So it pulls itself off as a bit of a romance, but I find that the girl in the anime is one of the most insufferable characters I've ever met. And it's more like she's imprisoned the guy in a relationship and she's forced herself onto him. But let's put my feelings aside for a minute and just say that it is a supernatural detective anime show. The girl has one eye and one leg, I think. Vaguely recalling it. They deal with ghosts, murder victims, and there's a lot of potential. I didn't think it was done very well, but this is airing on Sunday the 8th. I would say check out season 1 first to see how you feel if you haven't watched it. If you have seen it, then you can make the decision if you're going to go see season 2. I will check it out because I do think the show has got a lot of potential. I just don't think it's being handled very well. I would rather deal more with the supernatural stuff than the actual chemistry between the two because it doesn't really seem to be any. Next up, one that everyone knows if you're an anime fan, we've got Trigun Stampede. This is a reboot. This is airing on January the 7th. That is a Saturday. From what I can tell, they have rebooted the age-old Trigun story. New graphics, new animation, new everything, but they have slightly adjusted it. Meant to be a faithful retelling of the old story that was the classic. I know of the anime. I haven't sat through it myself, so I may sit through this because I think the main character looks quite interesting. Another anime that has actually been crowned on the channel before, The Vampire Dies in No Time, number 2, January the 9th, on Monday. The return of John. I love John. John is my favourite character in this anime. It's comedy, it's crazy, it's off the wall. It's not gonna be top anime of the year or anything, so don't go into it expecting that type of anime. It's just hilarious. It's a good anime to wind down to, laugh your head off. It's colourful. It does remind me a little bit of Blood Lad in a sense. Man, do we need a second Blood Lad? That's an anime I'd love to be one day telling you is coming your way, but it's not at the moment. I am excited to see what our characters get up to in the second season. If you want to know roughly what world it's going to set in, we've got vampires, we've got supernatural beings, but we've also got vampire hunters. And the hunters don't really get on with the vampires, but it's all about hijinks. We've got Drauk, who ends up with our main character. A bit of a useless vampire in a sense that if he gets scared, he dies. He basically dies at everything. You could blow on him and he'll die. So he's a hilarious character. Definitely recommend checking that out if you want to laugh a lot. Next one on the returning anime list is one of my favourite animes. I love this anime. I really enjoyed the first season. I haven't seen the movie yet, so I need to get the movie under my belt before going to season 2. But this is Tsurune the Lincoln Shot, January the 4th, Sunday. It is the continuation of the tale of archery. It is a sports anime. It looks gorgeous. It is animated fantastically. I mean, I like this anime, but can you see why I might like the way that it looks really good? Having a little bit of a laugh with that one. All the characters are unique. The first season we follow a kid who loves archery, but he gets target panic. He was really good at archery and he messed up really badly in one of his contests where it really mattered. Now he's recovering, so he's going back to full strength again, but he's trying to get over his fears. So it's a good anime that deals with the realization that you're not your best anymore and you still like something but you can't perform in the same way. So it's about getting over your fears, facing your fears. It's about camaraderie as well. So it's a very good anime. I definitely recommend checking that out. It's one of my favorites. I can't wait to delve back into this because this anime makes me happy. So happy. Now let's talk about what is new to the YouTube, what's coming our way, what's not actually aired before. I think there's a lot going our way. What I have noticed about this season as a whole, it's a season of romance. We're going through these new animes. There was some in the returning animes, but it's mainly the new animes where there is romance everywhere. Obviously, Inspector has the romance aspect in it too. And we're going to start with a romance. The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten, January the 7th, Saturday. It is a school comedy romance where you've got a super popular athletic girl who falls for an average boy, and she basically dotes upon him, and that's going to be their relationship and their hijinks. There's going to be a lot of this, guys. If you don't like romance, this is going to be a sad season for you, but there are some good non-romances coming out, which I will also nudge in your direction as well, because the next one is not a romance. The next one you've probably heard of around the gaming industry, and that is NieR Automata, and that is version 1.1a. I never know if it's Automata or Automata. They both sound kind of right. For me, it kind of sounds like Automata sounds good, but that also sounds American. This is airing in January. As of filming, there is no date yet. This is a game adaptation. We know game adaptations don't do very well. There's not really been any adaptations, bar Arc Knights, which aired this season, that we really like. Holding my breath that this one might be good because of the game it is, because it's such a big game on the gaming industry. I want to presume they've put a lot of money behind it, and it's going to look good. It does look good. I'm going to show some of the artwork on the screen. So the game is really nicely animated. There's a beautiful sound score to it. So I'm hoping they can bring that to the anime at the very least. We have had the heads up that it is shifted. The plot is slightly different for the anime. Whether that means they've cut things or it's going to be minor, I don't know. But if you are a big NieR fan, that could be a make or break for you, but we'll find out. I think I've seen playthroughs of the game. I've seen cosplays of the game. I've never sat down myself. We are following 2B, 9S and A2 in their battle to reclaim the machine-driven dystopia. Let's now jump straight back into another romance, which is Toma-chan is a Girl. This is January the 4th on Sunday. This one I've got a bit more interest in than the first one. We have a girl who is a tomboy, one of the lads. She hangs out with boys. It's just she has more boyfriends than girlfriends. I'm similar. Growing up, I had mainly guy friends. Not even for like dating or anything like that. I just enjoyed hanging out with them because they would have the anime or they would play games, and I enjoyed that. And I guess I'm not very much a girly girl. So we've got a tomboy. As she starts to grow and we're in school and everything, she starts to realise that she's falling for her best friend, who sees her as a guy, one of the lads. So it's all going to be all about her coming of age, trying to own up to her feelings and see if we can convince the guy to see her not just a guy friend, more as a girlfriend and as a girl, because even though we are going through her as one of the lads, she is still a girl. That is what that anime is going to be all about. I think that's got a lot more potential than the first one, because the first one sounded very generic. The next one, the first of 2 of the farming animes that we've got coming our way, isekai, and I don't like isekai, you guys know that. Very rarely find isekai I enjoy, although there were 2 this season that I enjoyed. One was The Villainess, which I love to pieces. Farming Life in Another World, Jan the 6th. Reincarnated, we've got somebody settling into the role of a farmer, a laid-back slice of life. I think it could do well if it's slice of life for me because I'm a big slice of life fan. So this might be a way of me breaking into the slice of life genre, because I have noticed that when I like an isekai fans don't like it. I like the isekais that don't act like isekais. Who knows, maybe this will be my one. There is another one coming up that I want to talk about anyway in the same vein. I could see that this anime might have aired, but it says it's airing this season, so if it has already aired, just scrap it. From what I can tell, Farming Life in Another World airs January the 6th. The next one I want to talk about is not romance, and I think this is going to have a lot of people wanting to watch it. This is a hyped anime. This is very hyped. A lot of people are excited by it. If you like to Lycoris Recoil, you're gonna like this one. This is Spy Classroom. January, I have no date as of yet. We have a war-torn world that has gone through decades of war. Finally, the governments are going to start approaching it in a new direction. They don't want to fight anymore. They've decided to train people in spy schools, go do espionage. We're going to follow a girl who I think reminds me a lot of Chisato. She is good. She's got good grades, but she fails all of her practical exams. So she has the opportunity to join a mission considered impossible. It's an action, a comedy. There's a very dark secret at the end, which apparently is the reason for this dark mission in the first place and why it's considered impossible. This anime I think is going to be littering top 10s. I think you're going to find it on a lot of top 10 lists out there. I think it is a dark horse. I think a lot of people are going to watch it, especially after how well Lycoris Recoil did. I think this is the one to watch. The next one is back to romance again. There's like a romance every 2 anime. Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible, January the 10th, Tuesday. Very similar to Komi Aran-san. I can't remember what that anime was. Where you've got a quiet, unassuming boy. People often think he's not even there, despite the fact he's in the room. They will be like, oh, he didn't attend class, but he'd be sitting right behind somebody because he's so boring, so bland. He's not even there. We've got a girl who starts to tease him. You've got the girl who starts to tease him because she doesn't want him to be invisible forever, so she decides that he's going to be not invisible. Another romance anime coming our way right now, the one I'm more interested in is the Tomo-chan one. It's on the list because I need to go check it out for you guys, and plus I like to bring you a nice big healthy dosage of anime for you to get your teeth into. The next anime is a romance and an isekai, kind of. Endo and Kobayashi Live, the latest on the Tsundere Villainess Liselotti. That is January the 6th, Friday. Now, we've got a pair in the real world playing an otome game together. The boy starts to state that he really enjoys the villainess and he thinks the villainess is misunderstood and he sympathises with them. But Kobayashi's like, nope, I hate the villainess, she sucks. Now, as the two start to quarrel, in-game fiance of the villainess starts to hear the conversation. So I don't know if it's isekai. He's in a different world, but he can hear the real world. He decides to start playing the game in a different direction. Their conversation ends up leading him take a new route in the game. It's all about them influencing this character. He becomes, I guess, self-aware, and whether he wants to change the plot or not sure, but I think he's supposed to prove to them that the villainess is not just a villainess. The next anime is a romance again. See what I mean, guys? Because of the cold months, the snow on the ground, the anime world wants to give us lots of love to live vicariously through. The Ice Guy and his cool female colleague, Jan the 4th, Wednesday. This one I've got an interest in as well. I think this one could be really good. A supernatural, a comedy, a romance, and a slice of life. We have a guy who is literally descended from a snow woman. I think they are Yuki Onna. Kimono Jihan fans, you remember we covered those in the anime. So he literally has snow powers. He is literally the ice guy for a reason. He can conjure up snowstorm. There's a nice picture of him like just covered in snow. He starts to fall for one of his colleagues and she is a normal person like us. It's all about the adventures of having powers in the modern world and trying to breach a romantic relationship. Everybody in this anime is also slightly older, and I do appreciate an anime where we've got older characters to relate to, because I do get a little bit bored watching a lot of school anime because I'm slightly older than school. It's been a very long time since I stepped foot in university, let alone school. It's nice to have older characters to relate to. The next anime is not a romance anime per se. If there's any romance elements, it is a byproduct, I am told. This is Malevolent Spirits Monogatari. I don't believe it's part of the Monogatari franchise. January the 9th, Monday. There's been so many conspiracies about this anime floating around. You may have heard of them. Look at the main two characters and tell me you don't see Attack on Titan's Eren and Mikasa. And there's even a red scarf. Conspiracy theory that this is a alternate reality or a prequel to the world of the Titan world. I think we need to watch it first before we call anything, because to me, with the plot, I don't think it's the case, but I will describe the plot and you can make your own decision. Action supernatural. So the boy is super angry. Angry boy who doesn't like malevolent spirits or supernatural spirits and things. He's got a grudge, a very angry grudge. The clan has decided to ease his rage by sending him to live with a girl from a more supernatural inclined clan. They want him to see differently because they want to make sure he doesn't release the anger and go attack on supernatural on anyone. He is sent to a girl and they end up going into the spirit realm. Apparently there's a lot of heartbreak and there's a lot of very hard stories, so they've all been through stuff. An anime about whether the girl can help him not be the next angry titan and actually soften and realise that let the past be the past, don't hold on to a clan grudge or anything, and revenge is bad. I can see some similarities, but I'm telling you, it doesn't sound like a direct rip-off. The next anime is not romance again. This anime is called Revenger. This is January the 5th, Monday. I've got a lot of interest riding on this because it's action historical. I like my history animes. Also, it's supposed to be true crime-ish. There's a string of assassins on the samurai. So somebody's going around killing samurai. One guy ends up being a survivor of the attack. He decides that he wants to take revenge. It ends up going down a very dark rabbit hole, whether it's part of the era where they were starting to wipe out the way of the samurai, maybe. If that is the case, it's going to be government that you'll find in the dark secret because they're trying to get rid of a bygone era. The samurais were just seen as part of the past and they had no place in the present. Going to be interesting to see if that is part of it, but it looks dark. I want something a bit darker to balance out how much super sweet love I get this season. There's animes in there to counterbalance it that will bring you some gore, a bit more like grit. The next anime is another hyped anime. That's the new formula. I'm going to tell you guys what hyped on the actual anime scene, what anime has a lot of people waiting for it. This one is a big hyped one. This is called High Card. This is January the 9th on a Monday. This boy who lives on the streets where he sees the orphanage ends up going bust. He makes it his duty to try and save the orphanage. And he sets out to try and make some money via gambling because gambling has always worked out and made people rich. Not. If you've seen other animes that deal with gambling, you know that we're going to go down a very dark, twisted route already. We go into the nightmarish world of gambling. A car chase. He comes straight into the middle of a car chase. There's a shootout. There's action. In this world, there are 52 cards. Powerful card set. People are trying to gain all 52 cards to gain power because each of these cards grant their user a supernatural power. Anybody who possesses all 52, they're pretty much a god in this world. At some point as well, we see that there is a war between car mechanics and the mafia. Maybe it's got a slight sprinkling of 92 days in there. That would be interesting because that anime was really good. There's mafia, there's revenge going on, similar to Revenger. I can't wait to see how off the wall this one is, but it looks like it's going to be gritty, which is good. Next anime is Buddy Daddies, January the 6th on a Tuesday. A organised crime boss. His assassin best friend. The assassin best friend has killed people. Not great people that you'd not want to really hang out with. Polar opposite as people. So one likes women, the other one likes video games. These guys end up meeting a 4-year-old who ends up walking into the middle of a shootout in a hotel. She's trying to find her mafia boss dad. These guys end up having to look after her. So yes, you might think there's so many similarities here with Yakuza Babysitter. I think that is the vibe, but this one could be different. Yakuza Babysitter went more down a heartfelt route, while this one looks a bit more funny. I do think this anime might have a few more comedy aspects to it, and these guys have to look after her to try and find the mafia boss. I think this anime could have a lot of potentials. Last but not least, let's talk about what I'm breaking down on my channel. In the first gap, we've got To Your Eternity. That continues season 2 on Sundays. You guys have made season 1 absolutely amazing. I've got to thank you guys. Wasn't expecting that level of love when I came in with episode 1 of the first season. I love breaking it down, you guys. We get into some fantastic conversations. Sometimes we go down moral dilemmas. Sometimes we talk about contradictory things. That continues on a Sunday, so I'm very happy to still get to talk to my Pain Train family. We've had a very interesting first half where we've actually had some fake outs and some good luck, and we've had perhaps one of the most gruesome torture attempts ever, but we've also had an amazing episode. It came pretty quickly afterwards. Good things happened, and I was shocked because there was love in the air, and we had an actual, believe it or not, obligatory fireworks sequence into Your Eternity. You wouldn't expect To Your Eternity, an anime all about pain, to have the obligatory fireworks sequence that we get in anime world. We had that. Next up on the channel, second of the farming animes, apparently is also really, really hyped. Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill, coming out the 10th of January, Tuesday. Isekai anime being broken down week by week by me. I have done isekai before because one of my favourite isekais is Restaurant in Another World. A lot of isekai fans don't like these animes because they're not technically isekai-ish, because obviously it's food, it's slice of life. What I think might change the balance is if I tell you who is animating this anime, and it's Mappa. Mappa, the king of animation, animating this isekai about cooking and food. This guy ends up with an ability to still buy things from the old world that he was in. So that is his absurd skill. People in this new world end up falling in love with his food, and we get a lot of those customer stories. Basically, he's a dead ringer for Restaurant to Another World, which has been broken down on the channel. If you are curious, you can find that in the folder for Restaurant. I like that anime. That anime is like one of my favourite animes. This anime I think is going to be up there. The doggo wolf thing in the pictures, really cute. Hopefully he's a good boy, so can't wait to see him and meet him. The next anime I'm breaking down, I've got a hunch this one could be a bit of a dark horse. It comes out January the 6th on the Friday. Sugar Apple Fairy Tale by JC Staff. They did the Moriarty the Patriot series, which looked absolutely amazing. This one also looks absolutely amazing. This one looks really good, and it really gives me Ancient Magus Bride vibes. I love that show. It's also airing at some point this coming year, guys, so get very hyped because I might break it down on the channel because I love Ancient Magus Bride. In this world, we've got humans and we've got fairies. Fairies are bought by the highest bidder. We've got a black market. We are basically fairy trafficking, and humans are treating them like slaves. That is our nice, dark, grimy backstory. A fairy in the form of the guy, he ends up being hired as a bodyguard for the girl, Anne. I do also wonder if it's set in the UK, like Ancient Magus Bride, and if it is the case, I will be breaking this anime down with a nice dollop of I live in the UK. I can tell you what bits look good, what bits actually are done well if it is UK-ish. Fairies do tend to be more of a UK thing. It does make me think it's UK. She ends up getting a fairy bodyguard, and she has to go on a very dangerous mission. Him trying to maybe escape his bonds of slavery. We want to know what this dark mission really is. How come it's so dangerous? Apparently it's also going to be slightly romantic. He's somehow going to fall in love with her, but the only word that comes to mind there is Stockholm Syndrome. So we will have to see if something happens, because apparently she likes fairies. She's going to be trying to change the very nature of the world that she's in to see fairies as equals. It looks like it's going to be one hell of a ride. We've got fairies, we've got really great artwork. Some of the artwork for the world itself looks very watercolory. I like it. If it's anything like Ancient Magus Bride, it's going to be dark at times. I'm really excited to break this one down on the channel, as excited to break it down as the next one, because the next one is my big baby. I think Sugar Apple Fairy Tale could be the dark horse of next season. I think it's going to be a big one, and I think it's going to slowly climb onto top 10 lists. Last but not least, and you may have noticed the lack of this big gun not on any of my lists, Vinland Saga 2, January the 9th, Monday. Do I need to say too much about this anime? No, not really, but I love Vinland Saga, so much so that I have made my own Canute helmet. I'll put some pictures on screen because I love that helmet. I think that helmet's great. It's a bit too small, so I can't put a blonde wig underneath it, so I do need to make another one at some point. Maybe the Canute helmet can go up for sale at some point. Vinland Saga is coming back. We're following Thorfinn once again, his very depressing, dark, bloodshed world of Vikings. He wanted to get revenge, but the guy he wants revenge on is now dead. I'm sad. Askeladd was amazing. He was such a troll, and he was such an enjoyable character. This anime has it all. It's got fights, it's got bloodshed, it's got action, it's got beautiful world building, it's got history. There's a lot of history involved as well. There's a lot of snow. Hopefully, the second season is going to take Thorfinn away from being angry, bitter, twisted because he wants revenge revenge on the man who killed his dad, but now he can't because he's dead. We're going to be following the plot a bit more. I've been told that the second season's very different from the first, to expect it to be a bit more different. In the trailer, I don't recognise barely anybody. I think I recognise Canute as being older. Kind of recognise Thorfinn a little bit. I think this one's going to be maybe the anime of the season. Besides what else is really airing, maybe Trigun might make it up there. But I think Vinland Saga is going to definitely be a very strong contender for next season, because I think a lot of people are looking forward to Vinland Saga coming back. Obviously, it's Wit Studio. That's my favourite anime studio ever. Really can't wait to see where we go. Brutal, raw. I know the second season's different, so I want to see what people mean. That does make me a little bit worried though, if the second season is very different, that people may not like it as much. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hopefully you've got a bit more of an idea of what's coming your way. Obviously there are more animes out there. These are the anime I'm going to be watching. I've got a slight interest in. You can obviously go check out a full list. The list is huge. There are some animes as well that have me on the fence. I'm not quite sure if I want to watch them or not. I'll have to see how the first few episodes go. But there's not too much in the way of big animes coming back. So it could be the season of A, romance, and B, unexpected dark horses making that top 3 list. Now I'm going to go and rest my voice because I feel awful right now. I'm going to go and edit this video. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate your support. I can't wait to see you again in the new year. You'll have to let me know down in the comments what animes you are going to be watching. What animes will you be tuning in for breakdown wise? I hope I get to see you. I only did 2 this season because Golden Kamuy ended up vanishing. If you were one of the Golden Kamuy fans and you want to know where it is, it's coming back in April. So the last 6 episodes will air in April, so we've got a bit of a while. I will break down the last 6 episodes when that comes out. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys are amazing. I can't wait to see you in the new year. Bye bye.